Over the last few days, the world's richest man has been locked in a bitter feud with the CEO of the world's most hated airline. And this isn't just your regular old social media spat. Keep in mind that Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary is the same guy who once proposed to charge passengers to use the bathroom in flight. And Elon Musk is, well, Elon Musk. So it's only natural that Ryanair's official social media account posted a promotional flyer for a quote-unquote big idiot ticket sale featuring Elon Musk, while Musk himself has offered to buy Ryanair, oust its CEO, and put someone named Ryan in charge, claiming that it's the ultra-low-cost carrier's destiny. So how did this dispute even begin in the first place, and what does it mean for the future of ultra-low-cost commercial aviation? It all started when Ryanair publicly ruled out installing SpaceX's satellite-based Starlink Wi-Fi system in its fleet, refusing to join the ranks of all the airlines that had already committed to doing so. Ryanair claimed that installing Starlink antennas would create extra drag and increase fuel burn by 2%, costing them an additional 200 to 250 million euros annually, or the equivalent of an extra euro per passenger. According to Ryanair, passengers may not be willing to pay the extra euro for high-speed internet on a short 1-hour flight specifically chosen for being the cheapest option on the market. Elon Musk has responded by claiming that the additional drag from Starlink is basically zero on 1-hour flights and questioned if the difference in fuel burn could even be measured. Ryanair CEO O'Leary, on the other hand, claimed that what's zero is Musk's knowledge on flight and drag without offering any justification for his company's own fuel calculations. So, who's right? Let's start out by giving O'Leary the benefit of the doubt and assume that Starlink does in fact cost an additional euro per passenger. Would cost-conscious passengers be willing to pay that extra euro for high-speed Wi-Fi on board? To find out, let's take a look at how much they already spend when flying with Ryanair. In fiscal year 2025, Ryanair made 2.3 billion euros from passenger ticket sales, or an average of 46 euros per passenger. But as anyone who's flown low cost will tell you, these airlines earn a huge portion of their revenue not from ticket sales but through hidden fees, which includes everything from preferred seat selection to checked bags to food and drink on board. In fiscal year 2025, Ryanair earned 4.72 billion euros from ancillary revenue, squeezing an average 23 extra euros out of each passenger. So if the average Ryanair passenger is already spending a total of 69 euros on their flight, 1 euro for high-speed Wi-Fi seems like a drop in the bucket, right? Well, it depends. Ryanair has one of two options. Either it provides free high-speed Starlink connectivity by passing on the cost to all passengers through more expensive airfare, or it offers Starlink Wi-Fi as an optional extra for passengers willing to pay. If Ryanair goes with the second option, O'Leary's right that not all passengers would pay the extra euro, making the true ancillary cost of onboard Wi-Fi higher to offset for the passengers that opt out. But if Ryanair goes with the first option and passes on the cost of Starlink to everyone, would it really lose them passengers? To find out, let's compare average ticket prices across airlines to see if Ryanair can still retain arguably its only competitive advantage with the 1 euro price increase, being the cheapest option. Of Europe's 10 largest airlines, the only other low-cost carriers are EasyJet and Wizz Air. Using the same approach, the average fare for EasyJet comes out to 74 euros, plus an average of 31 euros in ancillary fees. And for Wizz Air, it's an average fare of 46 euros with 37 euros in ancillary fees. Though Ryanair is considerably cheaper than EasyJet, it's head-to-head with Wizz Air, which means that even a marginal 1 euro increase in airfare can make Ryanair no longer the absolute cheapest option. It's worth mentioning that Wizz Air does manage to squeeze a lot more through ancillary fees, so let's revisit the first option. If Ryanair were to offer high-speed Starlink connectivity as an add-on, it can charge up to 13 euros extra while still being cheaper than Wizz Air for passengers willing to go all in. But this is all under the assumption that O'Leary's claims are accurate and the additional fuel cost of installing Starlink is actually an entire euro. What if it's a lot cheaper? Let's break down Elon Musk's assertion that additional drag from equipping Ryanair 737s with Starlink is pretty much non-existent. In simple terms, the two main kinds of drag at subsonic speeds are caused by either weight or shape. Since Ryanair prides itself on squeezing as many passengers onto their aircraft as physically possible, it's safe to say that these 737s are operating very close to the maximum takeoff weight, which is about 180,000 pounds for the 737 MAX 8. The Starlink antenna itself weighs only around 13 pounds, while the total system weighs under 60. This is such a tiny fraction of the 737's total weight, so any induced drag from Starlink is pretty much negligible. As for drag from the Starlink system's shape, Without getting into too much complex physics beyond the scope of this video, the antenna's significantly thinner and more streamlined shape means the extra fuel burn is much closer to 0.3%. O'Leary's claim of a 2% extra fuel burn would have made a lot more sense for less efficient legacy aircraft Wi-Fi systems. So the average per passenger cost for equipping Ryanair's 737 fleet with Starlink Wi-Fi comes out to just 15 cents, which is an insanely good deal for high-speed connectivity on an hour-long flight. All of this begs the real question: should Elon Musk actually buy Ryanair, and is this proposed acquisition something that could realistically end up happening? At first glance, one of the world's most successful entrepreneurs running one of the world's most profitable airlines seems like a perfect match. After all, Ryanair's industry-leading profitability doesn't come from their onboard experience, but from cutting costs and maximizing efficiency, which is straight out of Elon Musk's playbook, as we've seen with his large-scale cost-cutting initiatives that led to X being more profitable than Twitter ever was, despite much less revenue. If Musk is truly serious about purchasing Ryanair, he could potentially expand it to the US, where there's plenty of demand for ultra-low-cost travel that current airlines are struggling to meet. With his immense wealth, Elon could easily buy Spirit, which filed for bankruptcy multiple times, and Frontier, whose $1 billion market cap is a tiny fraction of Ryanair's, to top off his acquisition and export the European Budget King's successful business model to the US. But then there's practical challenges. Aviation is a highly regulated industry, and EU law prohibits foreigners from owning a majority stake in commercial airlines. Given that Musk and the EU aren't exactly on the best of terms, it's unlikely for an exemption to be made here. Besides, Elon's hands are already full with managing 6 or 7 different companies. At the end of the day, this seems like nothing more than one of those crazy PR stunts that Ryanair is notorious for, but as with anything involving Elon Musk, you can never really be sure. If you made it this far, you might as well hit that subscribe button.